All right. No. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, sorry. The burp. I had a burp. Okay. Welcome back to Anime Savants, everyone. This week, well, actually, welcome to the 100th episode of Anime Savants. Even though low-key, it's not the 100th episode, but it's the 100th episode by the number, so we're gonna call it the 100th episode. So welcome back to
the 100th episode. All
it's
right.
the 100th episode. I am Belle Cronell.
I am Noah from the new Xenoblade.
Oh! Okay, sorry.
Artemis is here too.
Oh wait, sorry. Hey Artemis.
Would you all like to be someone also, or?
Yeah, I am Jinx from Arcane.
Oh.
Ooh.
That cat's an imposter. I'm actually Artemis, James's cat.
Wow!
Yo, you hear that? She'll start talking, so I'm just
Sounds like a challenge.
Okay. Wow. And yeah, okay, that was a first.
That's a good one.
Yeah, oh my god.
They're all good. Everyone's good, but that's a good one too.
All right, and so yeah, this week, y'all, it's not the regular format. This is the 100th episode, so we literally are doing a free-for-all. So we are going to talk about random topics, whatever comes to mind. Of course, James has a game plan, but y'all know that my ass is just gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do randomly, at least for this episode. So we have new people. Ladies first. We have MoodySenpaii. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome. And would you like to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, what's good, guys? My name is MoodySenpaii. I am a cosplayer, podcaster, and Spaces host, most notably. And yeah, I am really, really cool. Very wholesome, with just a dash of chaos.
Oh,
just a dash.
Just
good
a dash.
with the chaos. I like the chaos.
With the chaos, yeah, we got some chaos. We got a question about that chaos later. Absolutely.
Why do people do this?
She knows this is coming. And we have another person who's been here before. Hello, Joe.
Hi.
Would you like to tell everyone who you are outside of the people who haven't already listened to that episode? And if you haven't listened to that episode, why the fuck haven't you? Anyways.
Yeah, I'm Joe. I react to anime on YouTube. I watch a lot of anime, like too much probably. It takes up a lot of my time, but that's okay. I'll die when I'm older, or maybe this will take years off my life. I don't know. And I just like anime, I guess, and basketball. Oh,
I'll forgive you for that one.
Oh.
He's pre-forgiven. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Go sports. Yay. So, James, you started off.
Okay. Since we have some special guests today, it might be a good idea to find out what everyone's up to. Of course, the folks following us know that we have the shows that we watch, our little predilections. I know Jordan has introduced us all to the wonders of boys' love this year or over the last year. I've been diving into manhwa. We watch the shows that we watch, but I'm curious about the rest of the cast here today. We can start with Moody. What are you up to? What are you doing?
A whole lot of different stuff. Mostly watching seasonal things. The thing that I'm watching that I'm most excited about is Summertime Rendering, which if you follow me, you know that that's all I've really been talking about lately. It's in Disney Plus jail, which I hate that for us. But, it's good. It's very good. What else has been going on? Not really been doing too much of anything. I've been doing some spaces, obviously Senpai Saturdays, if you're familiar with it, but we're doing that once a month. Also, I'm doing this space with my friend GB from Worst Gen, and it's called The Collective Cafe. We actually do that like every other Sunday. So that's been really, really fun. Next time we're talking about hustle culture and like fighting burnout. So that's going to be an exciting conversation.
Oh, that's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
I think.
To Joe.
What's up, Joe?
So I don't know if I'm like a boomer or something. What's Spaces? What is that?
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
That's why
it's Twitter's bright idea to bring people together.
Have you ever heard of Clubhouse?
Have you ever heard of Clubhouse?
I don't know what that is.
Wow. Black Twitter is a completely different.
It really is.
Wow.
It's a different place.
It really is.
It's a different place.
Shocking.
That's what I was gonna say. That's
so
why we don't know each
Spaces
other.
is like what, like some sort of groups or something on.
It's like
they're public.
Yeah, they're public for better or worse.
On Twitter.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Damn, that's like the only social media I use, and I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
That's really
You're
crazy.
probably better off not
Yikes.
knowing.
Now we've tainted you. So go ahead, Moody. Tell them what it is.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Spaces. So it's kind of like what we're doing now, where you're hanging out with your friends and you're just talking, but random people who follow you can also join. And sometimes it's really fun. Sometimes it's really scary. A lot of times it's very horny. So you should try it for
of the time.
Oh.
Am I lying?
There's no lies.
Oh man, you know what? I've only joined the BL spaces, so
And they be mad horny in there.
Yeah, they be real horny in there. So
All I feel
like I actually have heard of this. Actually, now that I think about it, the spaces. I think I heard about it on a different podcast at some point.
Do you
only once? That's why I didn't remember.
Do you primarily use Twitter on PC or your phone? Phone. Okay, then that's weird because I noticed when Spaces first started rolling out, or when I started to like try to interact with Spaces a lot, the desktop client for Twitter was way worse as far as Spaces and just like letting me know when they happened, as opposed to my phone, where if I would open Twitter on my phone, it would show me all the Spaces like immediately.
Spaces is that thing in the middle. I never pressed that thing in the middle.
See, my introduction to Spaces was that Lakeith Stanfield moan room. So,
that was Clubhouse, actually. That was Clubhouse. Yes.
Okay,
that was
I thought it was
Clubhouse.
Spaces. I just heard about it. I'm like, bro, what are these people doing?
That was Clubhouse. Yeah.
What is going on?
Wow.
I have never been in a moan space or a moan Clubhouse, but I hear it's a time.
Wait, they still do them? Oh God. Okay.
The girls still got to make their money.
You know
Fair
what?
point.
There we go. Good point. You know
Fair.
what? I didn't know they were making money. Good. Okay. Stick around. Okay, that is great.
So, in light of that, Joe, I know we gotta talk. What are you up to lately? What are you doing? What are you making?
Just watching a lot of anime. Summertime Rendering, also one of my favorites, but I put it second behind Kaguya for the season. I love Kaguya. I just absolutely, but I'm a sucker for cute shit, and like that ending, just like my heart exploded.
I'm too.
I'm not gonna tell you what's going on. I don't want to spoil
behind.
for anybody. It's amazing. My heart exploded with cuteness. I cried. Watching
they got
it.
you.
Yeah,
You felt things. Your heart isn't like, dead.
Oh no, I cry all the time. Yeah, I cry
good.
all the time with anime. Yeah, I recently. It's because I watched a lot of Korean dramas. They opened up my soul. I'm able to cry.
Okay.
Yeah, that and just other shows.
Did you watch Business Proposal?
I don't know what that is. No, is that a Korean drama? No.
Yeah, it's
I watched a show called Move to Heaven, I think it's called.
Oh Lord, you deep.
Oh
okay.
my God, that
deep.
shit.
Yeah, you deep.
It's
my
funny.
God.
I cried
They come
every
in-
single episode, man. It was so good.
We came in at the top. He came in right in the middle.
Yo, oh my God. Okay.
My wife watched Business Proposal and started watching. Was it Falling Into You or Crashing Into You, the North Korea one? And I'm sitting there.
There's
trying
a
to
North
figure
Korean
out,
one.
There's a North Korea. Well, it's based in.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like producing North Korea.
I don't know what a North Korean K-drama would look like. I don't know. Okay. Having only seen 1 to completion, I am fascinated by how they blew up in relatively short order, like 3 or 4 years. Like, if you open up Netflix, like I used to see all the anime recommendations and be like, oh, that's great. They're branching out.
Yeah.
Now it's like half K-dramas.
Yes. Yeah.
They're pushing it hard. They are. But I mean,
Squid Game popped off, and then they're like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit, let's make money."
Yeah,
I've only seen the
Shit, Prince
first-
money.
I've only seen the first episode of Squid Game, and I enjoyed it. But I was kind of just like, I'm gonna get back to this eventually. But
It's good.
whatever.
Moody,
hear
do you have
that,
any
like-
exposure to K-drama?
What's defined as a K-drama?
That's a good question. I would just assume like any live action production out of Korea that is serialized. Am I wrong? Are there other formats for it? I don't know.
I think.
I mean, that sounds fair.
I mean, there are like some iconic old ones. Oh fuck, what is the one? There's one based off of a Japanese manga. an anime series. It's a typical K-drama thing where it's like the chaebol, or I'm probably mispronouncing that. The rich guy falls in love with the regular girl kind of thing, but it's based off of a Japanese manga. Love Over Flowers or something like that. It's something like that. It's very, very popular. It's old.
Oh, I think I've
yeah.
Oh, man.
Wait, okay.
Alice in Borderlands count as a K-drama?
No, Alice in Borderlands.
No, that's Japanese.
That's strictly Japanese, but that shit is fire.
Good, it is fire.
Yeah. So give me some things that count as K-dramas that I may have seen.
Ooh.
Have
you seen?
You watch
Secretary...
Netflix? There's like a lot of shit on Netflix.
I don't really watch.
I don't know. Then that's all I know.
I mean, a really popular one recently, or in the past few years, was Secretary Kim.
I don't think I watch K-dramas, guys. I don't think so.
No, but
that's okay.
I've
don't watch a lot.
Seen
I just watched Move to Heaven, and then the zombie one. That shit was fire.
Oh, that's a period piece, right? It's like
no, not Kingdom. I watched that one
released,
too.
Like it's like
I'm talking about
like
the
a
new
student
one in the
on
that
Netflix.
One.
Yeah, it's like a high school zombie. Like,
all right, I don't know nothing then.
Once Train to Busan popped off, they're like, all right, zombie.
All right.
I haven't even seen that. I don't watch
Train to Busan. Definitely recommend. It's good.
I haven't seen Parasite. So
very good.
Yeah.
Have you seen Parasite, Moody?
The anime?
No. Well, it's amazing.
I mean, no, that is
also good.
Also good.
The Academy Award-winning film. The only, one of the only.
Here's the thing, guys. I don't really watch stuff with real people in it.
You're doing better than us. Don't.
I'm not kidding.
My people.
You're doing better than us.
Yes.
I'm literally not kidding. Like, I don't watch anything that has real people for real.
I think the only thing I watch with real people is Abbott Elementary. That's it.
Am I going crazy? They're doing a Dr. Stone live action, right?
Are they?
I wouldn't be surprised. They do everything live action.
They do live action with everything over there now, so it wouldn't surprise me. Once I saw My Hero live action, I was like, okay. I don't know how you pull it off.
My J drama is very limited as well. I think I watched Team Medical Dragon or something only for the soundtrack. Because Hiroyuki did the soundtrack, and I was like, I kept hearing these songs, like, what did he do this in? This is amazing. It's like, oh, I got to look up Team Medical Dragon. It's like, there's humans in this? What is this?
He did. Listen, everybody got to start somewhere. Everybody
got to branch out. I pride myself on being well versed, but I got to watch Stranger Things is the last thing I watched with people in it.
I love Stranger Things. That was awesome.
I can't watch Stranger Things. I'm a scary bitch. So no.
Oh, this newest season was the scariest. So yeah, it was very scary. So yeah, you know what's funny? Funny story about Stranger Things. First season of it, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and there's this one moment in it when I think Elle does something. She like slams one of the creatures, right? And literally the moment it happened, the bar that supports all of my clothes in my closet, it just broke. The moment it slammed, I got up so fast. It was the scariest thing. But yeah, just a little funny story. Perfect timing.
Wow. Well, on the note of like K-dramas, and just like Korean media in general, are you two into the manhwa scene? Or all genres, BL included, because y'all know I am.
Mm-hmm.
Little.
No, not really. I don't really read either.
Oh,
I'm with it.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong because I used to be an only reader, and then once anime like started to be like produced heavily, I was like, well, I'm not reading this shit no more. I was like, wait, let me get this shit animated. All I gotta do is wait a year. Okay.
I'm trying to get better though. I have read a couple things. And this is probably off topic, but I am reading Happiness and I am reading Say I Love You. Those are the two things I'm reading right now. And it's really cute.
Yeah.
I don't know either of those.
You don't?
Look at Joe's wall. You know he reads.
What's funny about that is I have not read most of this shit.
You poser!
I don't have.
Oh my God.
No. The physical volumes. I have not read the physical volumes of most of this shit.
Okay.
I've read through like I've read through at least 40% of this, watched like 70% of it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch that I haven't read. It's just I don't have the fucking time. But yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks. A lot of times I just buy shit that I've watched and like.
I had to choose back in the day. Like, I liked to read books. I was a book reader. I was that kind of nerd. But I got introduced to manga in the weirdest way. I think I was taking a trip when I was 10 to Montreal, and I had just heard about this thing called Dragon Ball. Oh my god, wild. And at the bookstore in the train station, they had like the first three volumes of the original Dragon Ball, but they were in French. Now, I don't speak French, okay? And I certainly didn't read or speak any Japanese at the time. And I convinced my father to buy all four, but then when I got, not knowing that they were in French, and then when we got back like on the car ride, I'm like, all right, I'm going to read this. Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
So I figured out the story of Dragon Ball just looking at the picture. You gotta remember, original Dragon Ball, it starts out with like Goku showing his dick to a bunch of people. Like that happens. It happens.
Yeah. You've never seen the original?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I've ever seen Dragon Ball. Just Z and.
Oh my god.
That nigga shows his dick a lot.
Oh, a whole lot.
Damn.
I didn't know that was in there.
I'm not surprised though, but that's crazy.
Well, because he's a child, so like in the context of the story.
Oh wait, I remember he
has amnesia. He doesn't know anything, so it's like he meets these adult characters who are looking after him. And Bulma's there from the beginning. She's like a teenage girl. God.
So Bulma they're like, had it so bad in Dragon Ball.
Oh my god!
Jesus Christ!
But like in these scenes, he's like, "Okay, Bulma, I'm taking off all my clothes." He's running around with his dick and balls out, and she's just like, "Oh, what the fuck is going on?" And I can't read any of this, and I'm like, "Why are these people naked?" And I realize I can't show my parents because if they like get past like 4 pages, it's like they're gonna ask what the fuck this is. So I've had the original 4 volumes in French, but like most of my life, and they're just a source of shame. They're not anything I'm excited about, even though I love Dragon Ball. But yeah, so I wound up spending most of my manga money on actual books, but I have a pretty big like library of stuff I have read digitally. I just have no other place to put it. I have too many video games. Video games are taking up too much of the. There.
Yeah, Xenoblade. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So fucking rare. Okay, whatever. That's for not this episode.
So wait. So if y'all are not everyone's a reader, not everybody's a watcher. How do you, Moody particularly, how do you find the new thing that you're going to get into? Do you go by recommendations, or is it like we have to dig through the previews every season to find something? I don't think that's probably how you do it.
No, that is actually how I do it. So I didn't used to do that, but obviously since I'm trying to like start building the script for my podcast, I've started doing it that way more. I used to just kind of whatever looked like dark and interesting, I would just like scroll my Annie list and then pick something to watch, or just get on Crunchyroll and like search psychological and watch the first thing that looks interesting. But now I actually do like go through what is coming up each season and watch like the PVs and like try to like research a little bit so I know exactly what's going on, because you want to know what's going on.
That is so interesting because I have never ever in my life watched an anime like that where like I like go to a platform and search a genre and I'm like, I'm just gonna randomly watch the first episode or 2 and blah blah blah. I usually like look at the shit and I look at reviews and I like read the reviews where I'm just like, oh wow, they trashing this shit. I'm not giving you any of my time. And then what's it called? Because we had that happen with Mischief and Demon Academy. Or whatever.
Misfit and Demon Academy.
Academy, where like James was like,
that was on me. That was my fault. I watched the first episode.
Well, no, you weren't the only one. Other people were like, it's kind of shitty. And then one day, randomly, I was like, you know what? I'm hungover. I'm in bed. I done watched everything, and I'm not recording this. What am I gonna watch? I watched the first like 4 episodes, and I was like, oh, I think I actually like this. I like this. Oh my god. But this was after James was like, I made a mistake. And I was like, let me see if I really did make a mistake.
The same thing happened to me though. Yeah. It was a very similar situation where I needed to do some work, and I normally do not watch a lot of anime on a TV because my eyesight's okay, but I don't like squinting to read subtitles.
Yeah.
So if I'm watching it, it's usually like on a screen very closely, but I had to work in a more comfortable position. So I was like, I'll just put on something that will keep me from going to sleep noise-wise, and that happened to come up on Crunchyroll, And I was like, all right, fine. I watched the first episode. He did kill a nigga with his heartbeat. So like, I'll watch it. We'll see. And as it turned out, I had the same experience that Jordan had, but I don't think I told you that you should watch it. I just said like I came around to it.
Yeah.
And then maybe like 6 months or months later you did it. Joe, I know you sit at the end of the fire hose every season, which I have dialed back from. So I don't know what your process is, because you kind of got to watch a lot of current stuff. But what would you do if you had a choice rather than, sampling so much?
Yeah, so I go about it two ways. One, just go through like whatever's most popular on my anime list for the season. It's probably going to perform well. And then I also watch trailers for like basically everything. And I know that I'm going to go with the popular stuff because it's popular. So why not? And then whatever looked good beyond that, I also pick up. But when it's like older stuff, it's all based off recommendation, Patreon mostly. But like also beyond that, I've just watched a bunch of series from recommendation. That's the main way.
Is there a series for all of you? Is there a series in the last, let's say, like 2 years or 3 years where you just didn't want to give it the time of day for whatever reason, and then came back to it and said, "Oh wow, I kind of wish I had jumped on this at the time"?
Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Okay.
Oh, you fucked up. Yeah. Oh wow. You really fucked up. Damn.
Start of the season that it came out, I was like, I don't really have the time to watch the first season to jump into the second. Also, it's slice of life. I don't really like slice of life. Okay. And no, this is my thought process. This is what I was thinking. Since then, I've watched more slice of life, and like I don't dislike slice of life at all. But recently, it like won the poll, and that's the one I started watching. And holy shit, it's so good.
It's amazing.
So good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Oh my yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
That's like my favorite. It's one of my favorite slice of life series. That's so fucking good. It's so good. From the first season on, I was like, please. I've told James so many times. I've just been like, when the second season was airing and we were recording every week, I was just like, Maid Dragon. It's so good. But it really is. Like, it's so fucking. In the second season, it's even better than the first.
Yeah.
It's just so okay. Let me stop.
I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, but
what about you? What? How did you sort of, or did you find anything like that in the last few years that you got too late?
I would say Link Click, and that's like one of my favorite animes now. But
oh my god, I've been seeing so.
I got to it late too. I'm in the same boat.
I got to it late, and I'm very disappointed because that's one I definitely would have put people on if I would have noticed that it was coming out. But when I went back,
what is Link Click about?
It's a time travel anime. So there's 2 guys that are the main characters, and it's a very unique way of time travel. So they do it by like, he is able to time travel back in time, but he has to clap the other guy's hand for it to work. It's hard to explain, but that's not even the main point. Obviously, time travel, anything is going to be good, but it's a mystery as well. And you don't find out a lot of things about what's going on in the story until it's too late, until it's like right in front of your face. So the most interesting part about this anime is the way that they've done the pacing and like the things that they've chosen to keep from you. So I recommend it, obviously, 10 out of 10.
Oh, same.
Wow.
That's strong.
What a great succinct way of recommending something.
The
complete opposite of my ass. Oh my god.
For me, it was something that wound up being very popular when it came out. It was the first season of Maiden Abyss. So I had been very aware that the series existed. The manga had been doing pretty well, and I knew visually what it looked like. But something about whatever that early aesthetic was, I didn't understand what the story was going to be. And it sort of is in my wheelhouse for things that I like, but when they announced the anime, I was like, well, that's great. I did the whole, that's so great. Oh, it's so great for you that you're coming. Oh my God, so great. Like I did that in my head, knowing full well that like I wasn't going to give it the time of day unfairly. And so after the first season aired, maybe about a year later, for some reason, I just happened to stumble across like a volume that was somewhere in the middle of wherever the manga run was, and when I opened up just the front cover, there was this beautiful art on the inside cover of the published volume. So I was like, this actually, I'm very intrigued by these little like details and everything else. So I kind of did the digital equivalent of running home to start reading it. And so I read the manga, not even thinking like, oh, I'm even gonna ever watch the anime, because I'm like, I'm getting the story, it's great, blah blah blah. I get to the end, I say to myself like, well, why did I overlook this? Everyone says it's great, the music's great, the visuals are great. I kind of want to see this translated. So I got to the anime kind of like a year after the first season aired, and I've been a big, like, not the biggest fan, but I push it on people as something that'll make you feel something even in your cold dead heart if you're not into slice of life, if you're not necessarily into the more like human driven stuff that's out there. And so yeah, that one I should have known better, you know. Why? It looked so good coming out. I just was prejudiced because of the way I thought the people were drawn. I'm like, oh, this can't be action heavy and gory and disgusting. Look at these cute little children.
Like Ranking of Kings, that one's like based on the art style. I was like, it's giving PBS special, but but it's good. It's so good, and they gave us blood, and they gave us guts, and they gave us the sad, like they gave us action. So, but yeah, I definitely. I almost didn't make it. I almost didn't make it through Ranking of Kings when I first started.
That's my current version of Maiden Abyss, where I'm like, I know it's great. I'm just prejudiced.
You still got to get through the
I'm just prejudiced for reasons I can't explain that make any sense. I know I'm going to watch it. I know I'm going to crow about it when I watch it. It's just I've stopped myself for some idiotic reason from getting into it. So I'll take the heat. I deserve it.
I did the same thing for both of those too. I got to Maiden Abyss late too for the same reason. I was just like, I don't really like this art style. It seems very childish to me.
I was late to Maiden Abyss, but I was late because I was scared. Because someone warned me, and they were like, it's a lie. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were just like, it's a lie. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, well, whatever. We'll see about that. And then I watched it, and I was like, I'm crying. Okay.
I told you. We talked about this on multiple episodes. I was like, it's coming.
Well, the movie, so I watched it before we even start the podcast. We both watched Maiden Abyss, but I just watched the movie like this month.
Yeah.
And
the movie.
Oh my fucking
Joe, did you happen to catch that? Both of you, Moody, did you watch the Maiden Abyss movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, because I was preparing for this next thing to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same. I knew I had to watch it because I was like, season 2's coming out and it's gonna pop off. So I was like, let me just catch up. Yeah.
I hope it pops off. I don't know if it's actually gonna pop off. I don't know.
You never know.
I'm worried because like Shield Hero,
there's so much
gonna pop off and nobody likes it, and it's like, oh fuck, man.
Well,
I think Eternal.
I think that's I don't know if that is that a production or story issue with Shield Hero.
I don't know, but yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of story. Like people are not impressed with where they're taking the characters. I don't watch it, but that's what I've been hearing.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I was planning to like go back around to it because I started it on my channel. Well, no, I didn't start it on my channel. I started it on Patreon. Oops. But I was basically like, I'm watching episode 1. I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this for right now. But we'll see.
I read the manga before it wound up getting. I didn't even think it would ever get made. This was just like something that was on the menu to read, just like mindlessly. And I remember like when it got announced, I was saying to myself like, wait, they're making an anime for this one? This is some degenerate ass shit in the beginning, because I am still not over the fact that the entire structure of the harem revolves around slavery. That's always going to be a challenge for me. But even beyond that, not only did I see when it was getting made, it was getting like a pretty decent production run. Like there were some names behind this, the studios behind it. I'm like, okay. And then the first season popped off for a lot of people, and I had read pretty much what they had serialized in the manga went right up to this with the beginning of this season. And I just remember feeling as I was reading it, like there's not a lot after the main character gets his revenge and then gets his revenge again and then gets his revenge again, and then it's there's not a lot else to say here. So yeah, I wasn't as shocked that the second or this current season didn't really do it for a lot of people, because it did. Mm-hmm. I didn't see what else it could do, but that's just me.
So to jump
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you continuing on the Shields?
Oh wait, you guys can finish.
Yeah, go jump.
And then
Please
I'll
jump.
tell you.
I was gonna actually jump back to Maiden Abyss. I was the same way as all of you. Art style, no, but also a little bit of Jordan too, because I heard it was so dark. And like when I'm watching it, when you get to like the dark,
it doesn't look like that off the visual promotion shit.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't look it.
When I got to the dark stuff in season 1, I was prepared for like 10x what the darkness was. Like I thought shit was gonna be so bad, and it wasn't as bad. And I was like, oh, thank God, because like I was dying inside as shit was going down. Like as that moment, like episode 9, I think it's episode 10, 9
and 10.
And I was like, no, it's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen here, and it didn't. And I was like, oh, okay, actually, thank God. But then the movie, I cried so fucking much, man.
There's this. I told Jordan, just for a spoiler-free, conversation. At the time, I told him, what they are going to do in the movie is going to suck for you. It is going to suck.
He did.
Okay? So just prepare yourself, whatever you got to do to get ready for that, and then just rip it off like a Band-Aid. Just go and watch. It's good. It's gonna suck.
I'm actually glad I did not record a reaction for it, because I watched the movie in public, and it was just a really bad decision. Like, I was like squirming, and people were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay."
Dying inside, but okay.
Yeah, like they were like, "Well, we hear like squirms coming from your room, so like we're just like, are you okay?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not good, but whatever. Like, it's whatever." Yeah. This shit is fucking insane, and it's fictional, but it's fucking me up.
And I think the opposite experience was Tokyo Revengers, because I knew from jump. I was a reader, so I was like, but I read it quick. Like I don't know how many was it, 200? Almost, maybe it was almost 200 chapters.
Wait, didn't you pick it up after the anime started?
So I picked it up right before.
Okay.
Yeah, right before. And I was like, I'll sample a little bit of this. And then like 3 days later, I wake up from like a manga bitch, like, what the hell did I do? Why did I do this? So it was like 200 chapters. I'm like, this is going to be good. And then the anime dropped. And I think a lot of people had the same thing. The first couple of weeks, I remember, there's a little bit of energy, and then somewhere in that first month, it was like the thing of the season. All these beautiful boys. So, it was interesting to see it from that perspective, because I didn't know anything about the series until right before it dropped, and then I was in immediately, all the way in.
So my thing is with Tokyo Revengers is that I knew it was gonna be great based off the music, because that fucking opening by Crybaby.
Yes.
I mean,
I like the opening too.
Official Hige Dansism, like them niggas. That nigga. Well, I mean, it's the band as a whole, but like, I was like, first of all, I've never heard this band before, but also I was like, this is a really good opening for a brand new series. That means that they believe that this shit is gonna go the distance, and it did. They used the same opening for the whole. Like, okay, like, damn. Like, shit. But beyond that, Tokyo Revengers, like, well, that's not my show. My show that I like discounted and then came back to at a later date was The Devil is a Part-Timer.
I have not watched this. Oh, please enlighten me. Should I be watching this show?
Yes. And we're about to get a new season.
Yeah, we're about to get a new. Well, it's not even that the fact that we're not about to get a new season. So I did this like right after. So like when it initially aired, The Devil, it came out, and I was like, "What the fuck is this name?"
I just saw him working like McDonald's. I was like, "What is this?"
That's what got me. I was like, "I gotta watch this. I gotta see what's he doing in here."
What? Yo, I threw it out of my mind. I was like, what the fuck are we doing? I was like, listen, they love doing fuck shit in Japan. So I was like, whatever. Like, The Devil is a Part-Timer. I was like, okay, whatever. And then, like, right before the season ended, one of my friends was like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the season finale of this, blah, blah. And I was like, you watched that shit? And they were like, yeah, like it's good, like it's entertaining, it's funny, it's wholesome, it's like
very funny.
It's all that shit. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, you liked it? I respect you. Oh my god. So then I like went and I was like, whatever. So then one Saturday, I woke my ass up, started it. I watched it twice in the same day. I watched it the day that the final episode came out, and then I watched it all over again. And I was like, wow, this shit is so good. It has everything. It has everything. It has comedy, it has shonen, it has slice of life, it has romance. It has all of it.
Damn.
And it's not super serious about it, but it all works. It's so good. Like I haven't. I think this is the first time I've ever told niggas this. I was like, because I've always been a devil as a part timer. Like, watch it. But I've never told anyone like, this shit. I ain't watching that shit bullshit. But yeah, it was good. It was good. I was wrong, and it deserved a second season. And I'm shocked that not only this, but the
Classroom of the Elite.
Classroom of the Elite.
I was gonna bring that up.
Do you know how many people? Do you know how many people did not watch that shit until season 2 and 3 got announced?
I'm okay with that. Come on over. It's more
you know what? You're right.
I found it by accident.
I watched that shit when it was dropping, and I was like, I fucks with this. Like, I likes this. And even where it ended with the first season, I was like, okay, season 2, soon. 2 years later, no. 3 years later, no. 4 years later, no. 5 years later, no. But you know why we got these next new seasons?
Why?
Because that fucking visual novel started popping. When it ended...
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
When it ended,
that makes sense.
The sales skyrocketed. Like, I'm assuming that the end was like... everything must come together like so phenomenally that like niggas was like, you gotta fucking go read this. Like, you gotta
also the
read
anime
it.
left us in the middle of nowhere. Like
That's gave us like I was like,
it did.
Like what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And it's done and nothing.
The way that they ended it gave a mid-core, 2-core series.
That's what blew me away.
Yeah.
And then we got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I only recently watched it too, so I'm one of those
man,
people.
I like at the time that it came out, I was like, you need to watch Classroom of Elite, and they were like, that looks boring. I was like, the fuck? This shit's so good.
The wild part about it is that if you watch it cold, like you don't know anything. You just see like, oh, there's this show. Because that's what happened to me.
Part.
If you watch it cold and then you get to the ending, you're like, okay, season 2. What? What the hell?
The exponential, it just gets better and better the deeper you get. Like, the more that you learn about all the characters around that shit, you're just like, oh, this is a shit show. Oh my god.
It's about to get real, and then nothing.
No, I was about to bring that up. Like, talk about like resurrected from the dead. Just coming back strong. At the risk of leaning into some of the stuff that's coming next season, because we are talking about Classroom of the Elite, but there's a lot of stuff that in general, like, I am now completely tired of as far as like trends. I know that the Isakai wave feels like it's abated a little bit, right? We don't have like 18 different shows, but we got a lot coming. Are there any like trends that all y'all are like tired of? Like, you know, I could do without more of this, whatever that is.
That's the one, Isakai. I could do. I'm over it.
I could do without the Isakai shonen. The Isakai slice of life. I like the sage is omnipotent, like some stuff in like that line. I would like more of, where it's just like someone, or the grace of the gods, where like the guy was completely overworked in like, you know, modern day society, and then he goes into this world and he literally just like does good things for people. Like, there's no fighting, he's literally just like fixing shit for people and like, you know, being a good person. I didn't watch that one. Yeah, it's really good. Or like things in a similar fashion of Realist Hero, where it's kind of just like,
I liked Realist
Hero.
It
needs to be more than fighting. Like, it needs to delve into other genres at this point, because the genre itself is too big. Like, it has to adopt other things.
I watch all that mid isekai shit, all the mid shit. Like, a lot of it's mid. A lot of it's
yes.
like 80% of it's mid. No, that's not true.
But the
50% of
ones,
it's mid, like 35% of it is just bad. When I say mid, it's like I feel like they're just all very, very, very similar.
Predictable.
So predictable. So like, okay, I know this. Yeah, exactly. Predictable. Perfect word. And then there's like 15% that's like, well, I would say there's like 10% that's like good. And then there's like 5% that's amazing. And by 5%, I mean there's like
slime.
2.
Jobless reincarnation.
Jobless.
Yeah, there have definitely been good ones.
Oh my god.
ReZero, Mushoku Tensei.
ReZero?
Those are
okay, I'm not caught up on ReZero,
amazing.
But I heard the second season was real good.
Slime's good in my eyes. It's not amazing like those two. Those two are amazing. I don't think anything really touches them in terms of isekai.
The thing about Jobless Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, that there's such a huge schism with like the like and the dislike of that is because the point of the show is to highlight how shitty Rudy is. And a lot of people watch anime because they're on like a fantasy complex kind of like thing. They want to.
I see myself.
Yeah, I see myself in the character. Like I want to be like this. But when you see the shitty parts of yourself, like manifested in the media, then it's like, oh shit! Like I don't like this. Like I came here as an escape, but it's like no, but it's actually like Rudy escaped into this world. But
you didn't.
But you didn't. And also, he's still Rudy.
Exactly. You don't just get to magically be a new person just because you jumped into another world.
He's still Rudy. Yeah. He's still a shitty person with his shitty ways. It's just a different environment, and he still has to deal with it. Like
people don't want to see that humanity.
Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. They don't want to see that humanity.
But ReZero, exactly.
Yeah, because he can't get away from his past. Even though he's in a whole new world, he still has to face all that shit in the new world.
Yeah, so
that's why those are like
yeah,
everything else
that's
is like
that's why they're so good.
So this coming season has like 10 isekai shows, which sounds like a lot, but there have been times when it's been more. And of the high profile ones, I think it's like 4 or 5 that either have a name coming in or are sequels. And you have stuff like Overlord, which hits one end of a certain spectrum of like power fantasy wish fulfillment stuff, and then I consider a thing like Devil's a Part-Timer is similar, at least in the sense that you've just got a character from another world.
Yeah, reverse isekai is still isekai.
Yeah, but I brought up like trends that people might be tired of, in not necessarily just to pick on isekai, but to dig a little bit into stuff that if you were to go back, like throw out the whatever's coming up. I know Moody, you mentioned that like horror has sort of been a niche that you've been into just personally. But even within any of those types of genres, you kind of have stuff where you look at it, you're like, okay, I've seen this 10,000 times. Can we do something else? Do you find that there is a similar kind of repetition among the stuff that you get into? Because I could talk forever about shonen and giant robot stuff, which is where I like to live. Where my eyes fall when I see some things. Like it could have been good. I'm staring at like Orient right now. What's coming up next season? Like, why did this?
When you said shonen and like same shit, literally I was like Orient first episode. I'm not watching this shit.
I gave it one episode.
The sad part is that even though all the things that are like bad about it from like a story and character development point of view are still bad in the manga, at least in the manga the art style is very like if you're into that art style, it's a fun experience to look at. That show just doesn't. I don't want to look at it. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to think about it, and I don't want to look at it. But I meant to turn on to Moody. Like, do you have sort of similar complaints within, or not, maybe complaints too strong, but observations within like the stuff that you're into about like I'd like to maybe not see more of this.
I had to just think about it. Yeah, I had to just think about it. So one, I would say is like, because I watch not just horror, but like psychological stuff, mystery stuff is my jam. That repetitive cliffhanger that they do in series where it's like they build the whole series up to this cliffhanger and then you go to the next episode and they kind of don't give you the payoff. Like they just kind of gloss over it and keep going. And then they give you another fucking cliffhanger and then they gloss over it and keep going, and it never like feels good. Like it feels really shitty. It feels good week to week, and Tokyo Revengers, I feel this way about that anime.
Which is
It
fair.
felt
Yep,
it felt
fair.
good week to week. It felt great week to
They
week when
love
I was watching it with
cliffhangers.
everybody. It felt really cool to be like, oh my God, did you guys see that? But like when I went back and watched it, I was like, this is terrible. It's just up and down with no resolution.
Right.
And even the ending, we didn't really get too much of a resolution, in my opinion.
Erased is a similar series. I very much enjoy Erased.
Yeah.
I actually generally recommend it as a really good series to get into because it's bookended, right? Like the story is actually not all that complicated. The main characters are well depicted, both like as adults and children, and but at the end of the day, when you like roll what the mystery it was all along, you're like, oh, it's just like, I don't want to give it away, but it's not that.
It's just that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just one. It's one thing.
The main villain, like, there's not. Well, I guess villain, the bad guy. There's nothing really to him either, honestly.
No. He's like, he was just looking.
I don't know
if
it's a hot take. I don't think Erase is actually as good as everybody says.
It's just good.
In my opinion.
I don't think it's great.
I would say
it's just a
after
good
you
watch.
all saying what you've said so far, I think like marathoning something and watching it week to week is a completely different experience. And when watching Erased week to week, I was losing my mind. I was going crazy. I was like, bitch, who is it? These are babies.
It wasn't them. No, it was him. Yeah, you
have
that.
It was crazy. And then that fucking let me not say.
Right.
Yeah.
But the resolution I felt great about, even though when you roll it, even that one episode, if you just think about it for 5 seconds, you're like, what the hell is this? Like, that's okay. All right. But I brought that up to also segue into issues I see with like characters that are not genre specific. My biggest pet peeve, and this is it's a critical thing to say and hard to do, is we've talked about on our show, Jordan and I, about how you can't write a character who's smarter than you. Okay, and that can include like the work that you do to prepare to write something, but it's very difficult to do that. And in a lot of shows that cross a lot of genres, many parts of the plot will hinge on characters, main characters, supporting cast, whoever, who are supposed to be very smart, and the show is supposed to be smart. But I look at it and I'm like, but this is dumb. The person who wrote it is also dumb. So I can't believe anything that's happening here. It's taking me out of like. So,
do you have an example that you're thinking of?
So when Moody brought up like psychological, like I watched Monster. I read Monster and then I watched some of it, and I remember people telling me like, oh, Monster is just like, it's deep, it's psychological, it's like, oh, it's exploration, whatever. And there were some really good. Obviously, the author whose name is escaping me did a lot of research in formal psychology, and so there's actually quite a bit of meat in Monster. But like the primary villain, when all said and done, it's just like it became, when you're reading it or you're watching it, it's like I don't know if you've seen Black Dynamite, the movie Black Dynamite. But it's a blaxploitation film that was actually made in the early 2000s, where it's sort of like a parody of these types of movies. And there's a scene where he walks into the ninja fortress, and there's like the Grand Master, and you think you're gonna get this big fight, and then like a boomerang comes and like hits him in the head, and the main character screams, "I threw that shit before I came in the room!" And it's like you're built up to this big moment, and then something like Deus Ex Machina a priori that one character knew about that no one else knew drove the resolution of that scene. I'm like, I don't like this at all. Like, I'm not in the heads of these people. Like, this is not fun for me. And it just feels more contrived. So I see that a lot in a lot of series. But like Monster was one where I was like, all right, this is a show for smart people. I'm gonna be smart with all the smart people. And I'm watching like, this is just dumb. These people don't know. So that's my thing.
In that same vein of like psychological shows, how do you feel about Psychopaths, Moody? Have you watched any of that, or like all of the stuff that like goes into that universe?
Yeah, I've watched Psychopaths. I've watched Monster too. Just to circle back to that real quick before we get too far removed from it, I did enjoy Monster. I didn't think that it was not smart.
It's
I
not
do think
dumb.
that it has.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not dumb. It's definitely not dumb, but it does have a reputation of being just like this epic, amazing psychological thriller. And I will say that it's not 100% that, but it is a good ride, which you have to be invested. Like you said, like you have to want to sit down and watch it. I feel the same way about Evangelion. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm watching that right now, and I'm like, I'm invested in being smart and finding out what the depths of this anime is.
Oh, girl.
Oh,
girl.
Oh, I would love to talk about this. I would love it.
But
wait. We got to shelf this. This is we can do an Evangelion episode.
I don't want to talk about any of the facts of the matter. I just want to point out that there are 67 canon Evangelion timelines, all of which are real, all of which exist, all of which have evidence behind them. And when I did a dive into the full spectrum, like when I was a kid, I loved Evangelion. I watched the original series. I was like, oh, it's they're thinking and feeling and everything else, and I enjoyed it, and I still love it. It's still one of my favorite series. But then I found out that like, oh, some random commercial for an orange juice like company in Japan that was co-licensed with Evangelion is a canon Evangelion universe. Oh, so the Game Boy Advance game, where all the characters are in high school in Osaka is a canon Evangelion universe, and this is not like
the Super Robot Wars.
Yeah, this is not the fandom doing this. This is the official opinion about all. It becomes this weird meta experiment that I cannot.
That shit.
It's so wild. But to your point, I don't think it's a good idea, and it never was, to treat it like it was this like gate that you had to pass through in order to like truly understand works of art or whatever. Like the way I think about the original series is very simple. The creators were under a lot of pressure, and many of them were dealing with all sorts of emotional and psychological issues, and the series is what came out of that pot. And so thinking about it that way and understanding what you get when you watch the original series is the most approachable, conversation to have. It's not about whether like, the themes of depression and like Oedipus complex and, the biblical references. Like, that's not what I think makes it great. I think what makes it great is the understanding of what went into it to have, like, my favorite episode is like the second to last one where they had run out of budget and they were just like literally sketching the scenes and half finished on black and white, and they just went to TV with that. Like, that to me is a much more interesting conversation than like anything anyone ever said, or the rampant what's the word I can say on YouTube, child endangerment and abuse of all kinds that are throughout that series. Like, that's less.
I feel like you can say a lot more because YouTube ain't took our shit down there, and we done said way worse. So
Misato and Shinji.
All
I'm gonna say.
Oh boy.
So that's how I approach it. But I agree with you that like there are people who treat it like it's this text.
They definitely do.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. Honestly, when I watch anime, I'm there for the vibes. But I enjoy watching stuff like that because there are those deeper nuances. So it makes the rewatch really, really good because I'm finding new things every single time that I watch it. That's how I kind of feel about Sunny Boy too, because I understand that.
Yeah, please help me, because I don't think I understand it.
Yo, you're better than me, because I watched the first episode and I was like, oh my god, I love this. And then like when I thought about watching the second episode, I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
That was me halfway through it. I got halfway and I was just like, I don't get, like, I like it. It's interesting. It's weird. I don't get what the fuck I'm watching though.
I think it's for Think Piece Anime. It's for Think Piece Anime.
I'm firmly seated in Think Piece Anime. Okay, I'm with it. Let's talk about it. Okay. Also, I'm there for the vibes because Sunny Boy, even if you don't understand or comprehend all of it, it feels good. Like, it feels like you're watching something interesting, and it gives you something to think about after you've watched 20,000 isekais. So.
I like that last point. I like that last point. I like the idea of like that maybe we should do better about judging some of these experiences that we have based on, are we thinking about it after it's done? Like, while it's happening, you can be as excited as you want and dig into it, and I think that's great. But like, there's a lot of disposable happenings
Oh my god!
Just period.
So in that vein, have any of you all watched Decadence?
Yes.
I started it, but I didn't get through it.
Okay. Why did you not get through it? Was it just because you were watching other things, or did you feel like you weren't really invested in it?
I wasn't invested in it, and I was watching other things. And in the beginning, they made the world feel way too big for me, and I wasn't invested in like giving it that kind of attention at the time. I just wanted something to watch in addition to the seasonal stuff I was watching.
If it had stayed in one of the 2 worlds that they introduced, would it have been more approachable? Interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
So I kind of got 2 things circling back a little bit. The first thing, I just want to readdress Monster because I've only heard like good things about it. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it, say anything bad about it. I haven't watched it. I haven't read it. I have all the volumes there. I plan on reading it. I'm just surprised like that you had something negative to say about it. Most people just like fucking gush over it.
I would never say this if I didn't know that you guys were fans. Like if I was in like one of my spaces and somebody was talking shit, I would be like, it's a fucking masterpiece. It's iconic.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Okay.
I'm saying, and I'm gonna be very clear. I think that Monster is one of the best written stories that I have read, at least, and I know it's older, but I came to it in the last 5 years. It's very good, and I was mostly commenting on the way in which
the smartness,
and also the way in which tension has to be driven by a character, and if that character has to be all-knowing or the character is intelligent. I mean, here's the easier one. An easier one is Death Note. Okay, right? Like most people who experience Death Note without any kind of preamble, nobody told you it was great, nobody said it would, they have a great time watching it.
You didn't watch the live action.
We don't talk about that. You have a really good time watching Death Note. Light is cool, you want to unravel the world. There's a lot of ethical grandstanding, and most of us can relate to some aspect of where the story goes. All that's great, but then you think about Death Note for like 5 minutes and realize that in the first 2 episodes, Light essentially loses the whole game. And I don't need to get into why that is, but like it happens. And if you are aware of it, all of a sudden you think back to like, okay, the experience I had watching this was awesome, right? I was really into it. I was digging it. Maybe I have a feeling about, this part of the story or the ending or certain characters and so on. But like you go back and you're like, oh, my main character is supposed to be a genius in his own world. But once I realize that he's not very smart, I then have to go and reevaluate, okay, the thing that was keeping me in the story wasn't my belief about self-insert into this really cool smart guy. It was these other great things about the series. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that like Death Note's bad or that Monster is bad. It's just that I get a little tired of characters that are written above maybe the level of the author. And but I'm not a genius. I can't write. I couldn't write Stephen Hawking into my story. He would just be a stand-in for whatever that means. But some authors try to actually make that work as a character. I'm kind of tired of that. I like earnest, earnest or very flawed people that don't have pretense in my stories because I could believe in them more. That's all.
I actually love that trope. And I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No. If you're continuing, please do.
Yeah, I actually love that kind of like, I guess, trope in anime because it allows me, like, instead of self-inserting into the character, I'm self-inserting into the world and trying to figure it out.
Oh, I love that.
From that perspective.
I love that.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I think that's why
that's why this is these are my animes that I go to.
No, I love that. I think that's an awesome perspective. How do you?
So that brings me to the second thing because I had 2. So that was the first was about Monster. The second one was what is one of those really good psychological series that maybe has a genius character that's like, okay, you're written really well, or just a world that's written really, really well that you thought was really great as a psychological mystery suspense type of thing.
I'll give that one to Moody because I would call her the expert here. I know.
I am not an expert by any means.
You're the expert today.
Or even just one that you thought was really good. Like you don't need to like analysis, like find like the perfect.
I'm not
that
smart, guys. But
none of us are that smart. Don't worry about that.
Girl, what? You know.
Ain't none of us.
Don't you dare. We are not. No, you are not going to do that on here.
I dropped out of college twice, so I was dumb enough to go back.
Not when you on Twitter posting like all the fucking like. No, don't say that. No.
Anyways, I really don't know. That's a very, very difficult question. I would have said Psychopath if we didn't get those last few seasons.
Yeah.
So everybody hear that
based off of season 1 alone. Yeah, based off of
season
1 alone. Okay, based off of season 1 alone, I would say that that's one of them because it's an easy to digest world.
It is.
And you're gonna have a stake in the game no matter what. I don't really know. I don't know if any of the worlds are really just like exceptional.
I mean, I'm sure if we like thought about it, we could find like a good example.
Yeah.
I think the point I was making is that I can really attach well to all sorts of different character types as long as they're not driving what's going on in the world of the story. I think like, you know, you could look across like Hunter x Hunter and there's plenty of characters in there that are intelligent and not just you're not just told that they're intelligent. You can more than infer based on the things they do and say and the way that they fit within the universe that they're in. There's nothing, I'm not saying that character type is like non-existent or bad. I guess what I was just speaking to was, you know, that whole idea, I'm watching, it's like the murder mystery thing, right? Like, oh, well, the genius detective versus the genius, you know, criminal or the genius murderer, and each has plans and they're unraveling each other's plans, and the ride is great, but very often when you rewind and you're like, well, if this is what was really going on, actually this is very stupid. Or at least it's not, that was stupid, maybe too strong a word. It's
You're having a hard time suspending belief.
There you go. See, you cottoned on perfectly. So that's the feeling that I now feel more, but that's just a function of having read more, watched more, and been at this a while. So you're like, okay, it's hard to surprise someone who's seen a lot of the tricks that writers do to get some suspense. I mean, that's all you really want. You're trying to create some kind of suspense and connection with the audience, and it's hard. It's not easy. And so that's why I don't like, I'm not crapping on people, you know, like for having that in a story, or I don't think the stories are worse because these characters are there. It's just, I understand that this is a very difficult thing to do. Maybe like in Legend of Galactic Heroes, you have like Yang Wen Lee, who's written like an adult, and I think that's what I look for when people talk about smart. I don't think about like, oh, this person's a genius or not. Is there some depth to the ideas that they communicate, and does that character feel like they are relating to the rest of the world in an intelligent way? What they're seeing, what they're hearing, the information they have, are they then doing some synthesis that's cool but also insightful? That's hard. That's like that's like writing up here. It's big boy writing, and I respect people who are able to do that.
Okay, so I have two questions. One, are you watching Summertime Rendering this season?
No.
Anybody?
I already said I love it.
But mostly, I know Joe is watching. We talked about that earlier. James, mostly.
I watched the first episode and said this is great, and then never went back.
Same.
But in my defense, it wasn't because I didn't want to see more. I was very, very busy at the time, so I really could only focus on a couple of shows. But I think it looked fantastic.
Well, Joe, to what James was talking about, how do you feel that relates to Summertime Rendering? Because I feel like it's kind of like we get a character that's smart in a world that kind of forces you to suspend belief, or else you're not going to make it through the series.
I have stopped. I've stopped trying to see anything realistic in any anime, because it just, every time I do, it's just like it's anime, and then I'm just like, all right, fuck you, man. Like, this thing takes place in a real world, like it's real. In the case of Summertime Rendering, that's not the case. Obviously, you've got this whole fantastical element to it, or supernatural element to it.
That make it easier to suspend belief with a character that's supposed to be, kind of smart.
Yeah, I mean,
things out, I should say.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. As much as I like Summertime Rendering, there are definitely some things that I am not a fan of with it. But I think that being in a world that's not real and like especially the whole thing that like everything that he does. I'm trying not to like spoil, but oh wait, you've seen the first episode, right?
Yeah.
You guys saw the first episode?
Yeah, I've seen the first. Yeah.
Does he go back on the first episode? I don't remember.
At the very end.
At the end.
Oh,
okay, so you guys know about that.
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
The fact that he can do that, the fact that he fucking goes back in time, it's like, oh yeah, if he's smart and can like figure things out, I'm not gonna really like hold that against him because he fucking time travels. Like there's monsters and shit, and so I think it does make it easier. Yeah.
So it makes it easier when there's sci-fi elements versus like
anything supernatural, fantastical will definitely make it will make me suspend belief a little bit more.
Okay, one more question. How do you guys feel about Code Geass, like in the same kind of scenario?
I haven't finished it. I haven't even finished the first season, so don't spoil.
It's the same issue that I brought up, but the show's hook as like just a piece of entertainment doesn't rest on it. Like that.
If you guys want to actually talk about it, I could just pop out my earbuds.
No, it's okay.
I'll surmise my like thing is like Code Geass, like amongst all like the pseudo intellectualism that comes along with it, it's entertaining. Mm-hmm. It's very entertaining. It's entertaining from multiple audiences, especially mecha niggas. Like it's great. Like it's great.
So come on, all right.
It's fucking great. Like it's great. And honestly, they leaned into that more with the sequel movie. And I feel like the season that's coming after that movie, that's supposed to be canon, they're probably going to lean more into the mecha, or they should. But as far as like Code Geass as a whole, listen, the whole time that I was watching it, I was like, I'm going to be real with you. I really don't understand what the fuck you doing, nigga. Like, I really don't. But when they broke it down and explained certain concepts, or when they like simplified it to make it basically be like, okay, yeah, like this is really bad because of this. And it's like, okay, thank you. I needed that. But in the process of it, I think that because it was like very psychological and like also like intentionally like, where the fuck we going, nigga? Like, what we gonna do? That was intentional, and they knew that they eventually had to basically be like, we have to get to the point and explain it, or else niggas are gonna dip.
Like, I think that I love giant robots. I love like shonen. I like over the top rule of cool.
And fashion.
Screen chewing. Oh yeah, fashionable. Yeah, screen chewing exposition with like mustache twirling bad guys. Like I love all that stuff. And so the experience of watching Code Geass gives you that. There's a little veneer of like, oh, Lelouch is a genius. Look, he beat a guy at chess in episode 1. And like that part of it, I didn't care about because it wasn't an element of the show that ever really played out in a way that ever made sense. It was always like the same thing I meant about Black Diamond. I threw that shit before I came in the room. Like most of his plans came down to like something that he had foreseen that wasn't communicated to the audience, and he had a plan for that. That's just Deus Ex Machina. That's all that is. And as long as the things and effects it produced in the show were wild and over the top, and all the bad guys were, oh my god, I didn't know, oh my life is ruined. That's what you're there for. And it had some really slick animation, and the music is awesome. And don't think about it is really my statement. Is the more you think about it, the less you're going to think of any of the individual parts. But as a sum and as an experience, I still go back and watch like clips and episodes because they still give me the same like cathartic moment. But after that, like, it was just a dumbass. Like everything he did was like dumb and stupid, and a person, even like it's really more that the people he was facing are even dumber than he is. Like they are so stupid. Everything about what the Britannia does, their plans, it doesn't make any sense. Like this is did anyone ever see Gate, which is a horrible series?
I've seen Gate.
I got to episode 3 of season 2.
Gate,
and I was like,
Gate
I'm done.
On so many levels is one of the most offensive things I've ever watched. However, there is a scene, pretty much in the very beginning, where they hit you with like the monsters are coming, they're invading the real world. Oh, this horrible, they're killing people. So you think, okay, this series is going to be about humanity fighting back against the monsters. Then they go over to the gate, and in the first engagement, modern technology, combined arms tactics, like, annihilates. Like, it's not even fun to watch. You're like, wow, they're just slaughtering all of these mythical creatures because they don't know what to do. Like, oh, shoot, like, small firearms and, like, missiles and planes and tanks all being used in a modern way. They just wipe them out. And, like, to me, like, that scene, that idea is a lot smarter than anything Code Geass ever did, even though I never in my life want to hear or watch that series ever again. There's so much wrong with it at every level. But, like, that makes... I believed that way more than I believed, like, when Lelouch crushed the building on all the robots and then the Britannian Emperor was like, argh! Like, that doesn't do anything.
I will say with Code Geass, another huge factor that, I mean, it plays into it for me, but it also probably subtly played into it for a lot of other people, and they just don't realize it coming as, like, a music major, is that Flo hyped the shit out of everybody with those openings. So, like, you expected Grandois when you went into the episode. Like, I'm like, colors, like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's there's no way you were going to go into an episode to basically be like, this is some regular shit. It was like, no, like, you're set up from the moment you hear the first note, where you're just, Chibu, oh, and you're like, all right, yeah, this nigga owns the world.
Did music for you guys ever keep you in a series that was just utterly like something you would never watch this if the music wasn't so good?
I don't think so.
I love music, but no.
I think a Sawano track would do it for me because I watch.
Sawano has saved so many series. We've talked about this so much.
Yeah. I was just curious about that. So. Speaking of, like, stuff that didn't quite work out for us. Oh, wait, you guys can go for it.
I have a question. So, far beyond the Isakai stuff, blah, 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 way back when, you don't have to tell us your age or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, what got you guys into anime?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Like, what was, like, the first series or, like, the first show where you were like, yo, I actually, like, heavily fuck with this shit? And I'll go first. Of course, you know, I'm a 90s baby. So, like, I was there with Toonami, the Tenchi Muyo, Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff. But the thing that, like, solidified my shit was Outlaw Star. I love that series to death. Like, that was, like, the solidification of, like, yeah, I'm not watching this other shit no more.
I feel basic because I think, like, I watched a bunch of anime. Not a bunch. I watched some anime in, like, 90s. I don't really count anything that I watched on. I didn't have cable, so I didn't watch, like, all that Toonami and shit, Adult Swim, like, all that. I didn't watch any of those. But I don't count anything that I watched on, like, the Saturday cartoons, like Ultimate Muscle.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I don't really count them though. I didn't know that was, like, anime. You know?
Yeah.
When I was watching Pokemon, I was like, oh, cool cartoon. Okay. But, like, I didn't know it was anime. Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't know it was anime. Ultimate Muscle, Shaman King, all that shit.
Didn't make you a fan of anime. It was just it was shows that
but
were.
Also,
it was cartoons. I was like, I want to watch the new cartoon episode.
They fucked up the American version of Shaman King, so I wouldn't even count that. Like,
we could go back to that one. But yeah, I got you. I
don't even remember most of that shit. I think that of all of those, I probably liked Ultimate Muscle the most, which is kind of funny. I think it was just
entertaining as fuck.
I was a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Same. But I think that really what made me get into anime was Naruto. It was just Naruto. 2007, I watched Naruto and boom. I feel basic for it, but that's the first anime when I was like, all right, I'm gonna catch up to it and watch every single episode the week it comes out. And, like, that's the one that I first watched subbed. Wow. I watched every single week until it ended. I did the same thing for Bleach, but I couldn't fucking stand going a year of filler, so I stopped that shit. I watched Death Note as it aired as well. That shit was amazing. Those are, like, the only real ones that I was like, you know, but I didn't really get huge into anime until, like, 4 years ago or something like that.
Moody, how about you?
I started off, I guess, watching anime, Saturday morning cartoons. We also did not have cable, so just whatever was on there is what I was watching. And when I got older, I'm not a really big TV watcher in general. So, like I told y'all, I don't watch anything with people. I really wasn't watching TV at all. And then I started watching anime because of a guy. Dun, dun, dun. And
I did this before. I'll do this again.
Effect.
All right. Yeah.
Because it's like okay, so he's the one who introduced me to it. So what? But everybody's like, oh, you started watching anime because of a guy.
Wait, why does that matter?
I don't think it does.
When you talk to people as a girl, sometimes it does matter. They will give they'll give you shit about it sometimes because they'll be like,
you ain't real because you weren't in these trenches.
Exactly, you weren't in the trenches. But yeah, this is
okay. But you're here now,
exactly. But I'm here now, and so I guess the first anime that I really was just like, oh yeah, I'm in deep on this. I would have to say because I watched Naruto and I was like, this is fun. I'm enjoying this, but when I accidentally started watching Domestic Girlfriend.
Hey, yo, this is what I'm talking about. Domestic Kanojo. That's what I'm talking about.
I was not expecting this answer from anybody.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hear me out. Okay, so obviously I started watching anime with him. Like it was a way, I was in like a very deep depression and he was trying to help me out by showing me something that he thought would like entertain me and kind of get me out of that. So that's how I started watching anime. Obviously he was putting me on like Naruto, Bleach, stuff like that. And I'm
he's a shonen nigga.
Yeah, which I am.
I mean,
so
wait. Person. Sorry, person.
Most people are. So it's like that's like 80% of anime watchers.
Exactly. And I was like, this is fun, and I like this, but I know there's something else out there. There's got to be more. There's got to be something better. And I was like, just looking up stuff and stumbled into
the mess. Yes.
Wait, have you watched Kuzu no Honkai? Scum's Wish?
Yes.
The mess.
The mess. So, okay.
I binged that whole series in one day. I did not sleep. I got home from a trip at like 7 and I was watching that shit until the sun came up. It's just what's gonna happen next. So then after that I was hooked and that's the only thing that I really watch now, pretty much.
I'm all about Domestic Girlfriend. I'm so about that series.
I've only watched half of the first episode because I was like, ooh, child. I was like, I wasn't ready for it because
it's a lot. You have to be ready.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for it, but especially because did that come out the season like right after Scum's Wish?
They were very close. I don't know which order
they
it
were
was.
Close.
They were they were back to back.
Scum's Wish was before Domestic Girlfriend because I distinctly remember like by the end of the season of Scum's Wish, I was like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I am done.
I watched episode 1 of Domestic Girlfriend and then finished the manga within 2 days. I was like, ain't no way. You get to the, I'm not going to say nothing. Know. The end of this series, not even the end, the whole last third of this series is the most batshit insane. I didn't think they could do it.
They'll have you foaming at the mouth.
Oh my god,
Joe! Oh my god, you gotta
for a show that like
add it.
The premise never really changes. It's like so. It's not like they go to the moon, but it's somehow they found a way to make the messiest shit.
They start us off with like giving us what the premise is, but they're like, but it's fine. Nothing's
yeah, right.
We're all cool. We're all happy.
The mess. I've been trying to put my wife onto that, but I think it's too much for her. I don't think she can take it.
The opening of that is iconic. There's so many people who
oh my god, yes, the opening theme.
A lot of people know the opening for that show, but they don't watch the actual show.
Oh man, that opening. It's like
the
bangs.
the Nishiku with the piano.
Yeah, she's already heavy breathing 15 seconds in.
That's what like pulled me in, and then like that anime is people talk about it a lot, and I can't even say it's underrated, but like I need more people to watch it. It's just not. It's not just mess. It's actually like so nuance. Entertaining. Yes.
Yeah. I just don't know. Like we just got obviously this season. There's these like returners that come back from 6 years, but like the fact that they didn't make any more. I don't know if that says what that says. That that's you know.
they don't really have an excuse because they're animating all the porn.
Yeah.
Like in different tiers. So they might as well just...
I'm actually fine with them not doing anymore. I feel like it's like right now, it's just perfect right there. I feel like if they added to it,
where the first season
it kind of yeah.
Okay. I feel like if they did any more, I might not enjoy it as much.
And that I think would explain why when you get to the back end of this series, you're like, holy shit, this is where we were going. Like it's, I don't watch a lot of traditional soap operas. What I do see usually comes through my wife, and a lot of them are more modern. So like this felt like old soap opera, like from like the late 90s, like mid to
like
late
Dynasty?
90s, where like not to the level of like this is my twin who has an eye patch, but like almost to that level.
No, I feel like they did it way better than.
No. I understand they did it a lot better. And I'm going to use the word cleaner, not to mean like it's not sexy and not to mean that it's, it's been like sanitized. It's just take the emotional points that all those series get to and just throw away all the other stuff. Like it's very direct.
It is. I love it. It's so
cool. Wow. Well, great. We're on the same wavelength, at least on that stuff.
Joe, have you ever thought about watching it?
I've actually thought about it because I've seen like YouTubers and stuff talk about the series, but I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen any series that are like really like whoa, in the same way that like Domestic Girlfriend is.
Because anyone who's watched any of it, especially like the first 5 minutes of the first episode. I feel like it's I don't know if, all right, here's my crazy analogy, all right? Nigerian print scams, okay?
What?
So the Nigerian print scam is always a over the top story that they tell you. They tell you like, "Oh, I've got this money in a bank account and I need your help to do that." Any rational person who sees that is going to be like, "Bruh, this is fishy. I'm not down for this." But there's a tiny fraction of the population that is just struck like, I have to help this man. I have to help him get his money. Like very gullible people. And for years, I would always wonder like, why is it designed this way? Quick hint, this is part of the work that I do. But it turns out that Nigerian print scams are written so over the top on purpose. They don't want to get people who are like, going to convince everyone. It's not for you and me and other folks who know better. They are trying to weed out the part of their audience that would waste their time because they're going to have to work with, they got to send messages. You got to do all this bank account stuff. They only want to work with the ones who are like ready to go. They're not going to question anything. They're into the story. So the design of the story is meant to like get the people who aren't going to be into this right out of here. Like, we're not going to trick you. I'm not going to hold you down for hours and days. Like, you can go about your business. I'm looking for my targets. Domestic Girlfriend is the same way. The opening, especially that first episode, they hit you with more than you are probably ready for. So the people who are like, let's get to the mess, they're in. They are like right there. And then they don't even try to like help the other people. The other people can just like go on. You can go watch your like Kimagure Orange Road repeat from 1987. Like, go enjoy that stuff. You want mess? I got you. And all the characters in it are so fucking blasé about what they're doing 90% of the time. It's only when you like, people run into each other and then you get the what's she gonna do? What's he gonna say? But they do that on purpose. It weeds out everyone else. I would just say, if there's anything interesting about what you saw in episode 1, it's actually a good series where like that event that happens does in fact go somewhere. It's not just like shock value, pure shock. It's not that. So that's the best endorsement that I can give. I think I mentioned Dragon Ball. I will say that my first actual anime was Robotech. I'm old.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so like I'm an 80s baby. So I grew up in the early 90s where like the only anime I was going to be able to find was like in a video store. And for at least when I was very young, all the Japanimation was behind a curtain because it was like pornography, or the people were fucking stupid about it. So the only stuff that was on the other side were like movies under the U.S. Manga Corps like print umbrella, which used to they dubbed a lot of stuff back in the day, and then like a few other series like Area 71, and then in particular Robotech, which I got onto immediately because I saw planes transforming into robots and like shooting guns, and there were like people in them, and I'm like, bro, this is the wildest shit. Please give me more of this. When I saw Robotech the first time, I kid you not, it changed my whole life. Like at that, up to that point, I was like into like stuff, nerdy stuff. I read books. Robotech and anime had me running around the city as like getting like my parents like drive me end to like, cause I'd call video stores like, hey, they only have the first 6 episodes and then a gap, and then they've got like a tape that's got like episodes from the end of the series. I was calling video stores like, do you have number 3 or 4? Do you have and we would like drive around to like find stuff. And in that process, I got introduced to a lot of the series that were tentpole for folks in the 80s. Like I was born in 85, so like I literally missed like the first wave, but I came to it in the early to mid 90s where you could actually discover anime. I'm not saying like where you go to Crunchyroll and say, you know, what's whatever, go to a genre. You had to like go on a quest to some like back alley video rental place to find like a copy of like Genocyber or MD Geist, like all these things that felt like they were like sacred texts. Like, have you seen this? And you tell your friend like, I've never heard of that before. What is that? And you'd share it. So I had that experience going into the internet era where you could just start to download stuff. So that was my first was Robotech. Then I kind of like Dragon Ball. I didn't actually see in animated form until probably it started airing on television, and it would come on at 6:30 a.m. on the station, and they had the whole.
Was it the Oriental channel?
No, this was regular. I didn't have cable. I was like all these other. I was cable free. So the best part was they on regular. It may have been UPN at the time or pre WB station, but they only had Dragon Ball Z up until the beginning of the final battle of Frieza, and then it would just restart the next week. So me and my brother, who's younger than me, we would like wake up at 6 in the morning. We would turn on the TV. We'd watch one episode of Dragon Ball Z. It would get to the end where we knew they didn't have any more, and then we'd be like, please, next week the station have bought the rest of them, and then it would be like right back to Earth when Raditz comes out. We're like, God damn it!
And then Cartoon Network got it.
And then Cartoon Network got it, but I didn't have cable, so everyone else had a good time.
So then after that, my next question is, what's your favorite big 3?
Oh no, it's got to be I'm gonna let everyone else jump in on that one.
Guests first.
So like what do you mean by what's my top 3?
No, what's your favorite of the big 3?
Oh, of the big 3, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece?
Yes.
Oh, well, I've only seen 2 out of 3, and one of them I didn't finish. So, hey, Naruto. Easy. That's easy for me.
It also has to be Naruto for me as well for the same reason.
Okay. All right.
What you got?
James?
Oh, I'll give you my first. When I was but a wee babe, Naruto was the jam. Then I looked at the fit in Bleach on a regular basis, and I'm like, bro, this is undefeated. But as an adult, I now know that One Piece had it on lock from day one, and I just wasn't there yet. I had to get there.
Same. I was the Naruto nigga. I got into Naruto because Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and my friend was like super into anime, and I was like, yeah, I watch anime on Toonami, and he was like, bitch, you're behind.
Oh no.
And I was like, what? And he had imported before when Naruto had first started airing on Cartoon Network, not Toonami. Cartoon Network. He was like, I have up until Shippuden on DVD, which I feel like people don't know what DVD is now anymore.
How does that make y'all feel? That you are now, you've aged out of DVDs to a point where no one even knows what you're talking about.
I got a new laptop recently, and it doesn't even have a CD drive.
Mine doesn't either.
Yeah, they don't.
I was like, where the fuck is the drive at? Like, oh, digital. Okay.
I don't have any CDs, but still, I would like the option.
Exactly.
Well,
Beyonce's gonna give us CDs soon, so it's
no! People are gonna. This would be like 2 generations of people like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
What is this?
But so he basically, I traded Kingdom Hearts 2 for his entire Naruto DVD collection that was subtitled. So
I think you came out ahead of that one. Those are expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh. Well, no. When I tell you he was about this life, he was about this life.
He was about that life.
So way before Crunchyroll even existed, or like before Cartoon Network, I started watching the DVDs that he gave me right at the point where they got to the Zabuza arc. So like they were at the Zabuza arc and I was at the end of like I was in the filler episodes before Shippuden. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." Until I found out that One Piece still existed because they aired One Piece in fucking America and then they stopped it.
That
and I was
kids
like,
dub, though.
Yeah,
that
I was like,
kids dub.
I was like,
no.
I guess this show is done. It's over. It doesn't exist anymore.
Damn.
And then my ass found out that shit existed and there were 300 extra episodes. And
not only does it exist.
And I was like, well, I'm a freshman in college. What am I going to do? Watch all of this because I have nothing but free time. So I watched
all the time. We should have been setting. Oh, it's free time.
Yeah, free time. So I literally would go, and this is when Soul Eater was airing. So I would watch it weekly. I basically be like, I gotta watch Soul Eater. Boom. Okay, great. That was cute. And then I basically be like, I'm gonna marathon One Piece until I'm hungry. Then I'm gonna go to the fucking cafeteria. Then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna watch some more One Piece. And I watched One Piece all the way up to the Moira arc, the Thriller Bark arc, and then I was like, well, yeah, I'm reading the manga now because I'm like, this is a lifestyle. I'm done.
So
it's over.
So based on that, and this is for everybody, how would you introduce people to anime who are cold? Because we kind of have our own personal stories. Sometimes you stumble across it and it becomes a thing. Sometimes it's presented to you in some form or fashion. But if you had to like start with just a peer of the same age, let's just leave it at that, and you said, all right, I want to intro someone to it, where do you start, or how do you start?
I'd introduce someone to anime through Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh Lord, you giving them the good stuff. What about the rest of y'all?
I've learned the best way, because I try to convert my friends all the time, so I've learned the best way is to find out what they're already actually into, and then just give them something that's as close to that shit as possible.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I find out like what kind of stuff do you like what's the genre, what type of shows, and then I find them something that fits in that mold.
See, I can't do that because I will recommend Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and they'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting, and I'll be like, I will sit with you. I will sit with you right now. We will watch it together, and then we get like 5 to 6 episodes in, and they're like, oh my god, and I'm like, okay, I'm going home. Good luck.
Oh shit. So do you prefer? And I know you're saying like it varies based on the person's taste, but do you go for like prestige type shows, or do you think maybe there's deeper cuts that very narrowly fit somebody's interest that may not be like big name stuff?
So I have recommended Link Click to people before, which obviously we've already talked about how kind of like undercover that anime is, but I've also recommended just like basic shonen stuff to people as well. So not really. I think it also depends on the person too, because if someone recommended anything to me, like obviously Naruto and Bleach I started with, so I was hooked enough, but everybody's not like that. They might watch it and automatically be like, no, these fucking kids are running around here. Right. No, it's not for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Joe, I normally go for like a shonen type of thing, something that like is popular, because like if it's popular, it's popular for a reason. If they get hooked on something that fits like their taste and it is a popular series, then I can give them something more niche and more like whatever. But I do normally go with like a shonen type of, it doesn't have to be like a big like Naruto. In fact I try and stay away from anything that's more than like 25 50 episodes, so otherwise they're not gonna if I can go for like 1-2 season, it's probably a lot better. Like there's some shows that I don't know, people that are like really basic, you could just be like, hey, you like superheroes? My Hero Academia. And then they watch it and they're like, I like this. And it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, this worked out. And I mean, it's not one season and it's not amazing, but
the first season is good enough.
Yeah. So I normally go for something that's like a popular shonen. My Demon Slayer works pretty well. Like most of those big popular shonens work on most people, because very rarely do I get people like, yeah, so I really like psychological thrillers and like, you know, going down that whole. I very rarely. In fact, I don't think I've ever got anybody that was like into that. I mean, I think I've had somebody say like, oh, I like dark stuff. And then I was like, oh, Death Note's pretty dark. And then I like gave him Death Note, but that's about as far as I went.
I mean, I struggle.
I struggle with that a lot. I think I also kind of lean into series that have a lot of more mainstream representation, so that if they see it, they could possibly seek out more, you know, in a more organic way. I think that the most success that I've had is when there's a good representative show that can leave an impact immediately. Something that's like very visual. So like I found that in the last like maybe 4 years, or last couple of years anyway, like Demon Slayer gets over very well with a lot of people, a variety of it, because it you can point to enough visually that's exciting, but it also doesn't really look like what a lot of people think anime looks like. Generic. It does in reality, but like when it comes to like dealing with sort of folks,
I think the main thing with Demon Slayer that a lot of people have to realize is that it's done by Ufotable.
True.
That's not the regular studio.
True. Yeah, and I think quality is one side of it, and then others is colorful, and that like there's not actually a lot that you have to sit back and understand about. Really, there's the number of characters is very small, at least in the beginning. So it's like, you know, that's I've been very successful with as an introduction, but actually the two series that I have gotten over the most and gotten people actually interested to go out and sample other stuff. Number one is Agretsuko, because it's easily available on Netflix. It's cute, but it also is written for adults and deals with things that for an American audience, you know, office culture and everything else. Like, again, I'm mid-30s, so like the people I talk to are somewhere around that age. They've had experiences like that, and the fact that it's a bunch of cute animals, that juxtaposition really seems to work. I don't know why. It got my wife to start watching anime, literally telling me like, oh, you know, there's a new season of Agretsuko coming out. I'm like, okay, I got you. So that's what's up. And then the other one is a little less, but like Way of the House Husband, that sort of stop motiony. It's not stop motion, but like
slice of life.
But like the style of animation that
they show. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's so different than anything that they usually have seen, and it's quick. It's joke, like everything kind of revolves around one easy to understand joke. The characters are very solidly presented, and it's quick and get out of their system and move on. And they don't realize that like that's also anime, and I think that's the success that I've been able to have, is coming at it from the side with things that either visually are very evocative and that they get onto that, or it challenges what they thought anime was. But I'm mostly dealing with folks who are a little bit older. Like, I need to talk to these kids. These kids know. They know. So the last thing, I guess, because we're running up and we had a good time, I think, the last thing I want to pick y'all's brains about are what you're actually looking forward to. So that, you know, we all are deep in our seasons and watch what we watch, but in the next year or so of the stuff that's announced, or just things that like you haven't had time to get back to, but now that you think about it, like I'd love to take, you know, if I get a week off or a weekend off and just watch something else that I haven't gotten to, or read something I haven't gotten to. What's kind of on your plate? I can just say for me, there are a variety of manhwa that I've picked up in the last like year, that what I do is like I'll read up to wherever the series is, then I'll like take a break for like 6 months and come back and see what's built up. So I've got probably a laundry list of series to come back to, and I think last I found out earlier this week that Night of Embers, which is something that I found really like 5 or 6 days ago, they had a bunch of untranslated stuff, and some team went in and translated like 10 or 12 chapters. So I'm excited for that. And then on the anime side, Witch from Mercury. I'm a big Gundam person, and so like this is like I'm holding on to hope that this is the good one. This is a good one. I want it to be good so bad. That's really high on my list of like stuff that's coming.
Be in the Super Robot Wars.
Yeah. So for the rest of you, are there things that you are either interested or excited to have in front of you in maybe next season, seasons after, or just stuff to catch up on? Is there anything on your list?
Chainsaw Man.
What?
Chainsaw Man and Vinland Saga.
Oh, you mean Farmland Saga?
Yeah, This is the farmland. This is the farmland one that's supposed to come up. I actually have like all the fucking hardcovers up to 12, and I haven't read them though because I don't have time. Like I said, I loved the first season of Vinland Saga. I can't wait for the second. It's gonna be amazing.
It's great.
I don't care if there's no action at all. I will eat it up because I loved it for more than just the action. And then Chainsaw Man because I fucking love Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. Moody, what you up to? What you want to see?
Directly next season, obviously Classroom of Elite. We've already talked about that. And Call of the Night is coming next season as well. I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Yes, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I'm very into vampires and obviously Maiden Abyss too. I'm very into vampires, shocker. So I'm excited to see how they do that. The main characters are a little bit young, so I know I'm not gonna get as much spice as I'm looking for, but I did see some cool stuff in the teasers that they've shown, so that's cool. Also Blue Lock later this year. I'm looking forward to that.
Yo, I've seen so many people like hyping that up.
Yeah, so it's giving, obviously it's a sports anime, soccer, but it's going to have like a psychological twist to it because apparently they're in some kind of like, I guess, detention camp, but they're also still playing for a spot on a national soccer team. So I don't even know if I'm explaining that right, and I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm excited to see.
Me a good
Yo, that's a nice twist.
I think they're trying to, the point of it is to try to kind of create the best striker in the world for the national team, for the Japanese national team.
That's right. So that's right.
It's like everybody scoring goals, which kind of like says like fuck you to soccer.
Yeah.
Because that's
but also fuck you to soccer. Let's see some goals. Like let's go.
Goals are pretty cool.
Let's go.
Like I'm hyped for it too. The animation actually looks good in the trailers. So like totally.
Who's doing it? Isn't it Mappa? We don't know. We don't know.
I don't know who it is.
I think is out. If it's Mappa, then they're going.
It might not be because I don't think I just don't remember who it is though.
100% not. It is.
It's 8-bit.
Yeah, which I know nothing about 8-bit. What has 8-bit done?
8-bit has.
I've looked this up before, but
Mushoku
obviously.
Yeah.
They did Slime.
I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
I only really
Sorry, not Mushoku Tensei. My bad. Slime. I meant to say Tensura. Yeah, Slime.
Yeah, they've done Slime. They've done Infinite. They've done Infinite Stratos.
Oh damn! Okay, we're taking it. Okay.
I just know Tensura. That's it.
I remember looking this up and I was like, I don't see anything in here. I know. So we'll see. But the teasers look good. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Jordan, what do you? I mean, I kind of know, but.
Wait. What do you mean?
Nothing.
What are you looking forward to?
What you looking forward? It's no shade. It's not shade. Say that we talk. We talk about stuff.
I want to hear what you think I'm looking forward to.
Oh my god! For the rest of the year, no. Just get that.
We'll
come back. I'll
tell you yes if no. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to Harm in the Labyrinth of Another World.
Oh.
I'm lying. I'm looking forward to the rest of the Pretty Cure season. We're gonna get our 6th Ranger. Absolutely yes. I'm looking forward to Love Live Superstar season 2. I'm gonna get some more songs. I'm gonna get some more idol action. Not in that way, dirty bitches.
Nobody says.
Nah, I'm not calling y'all dirty bitches. Like some people, they're gonna be like, ew. No, we're getting new songs. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Classroom of the Elite, and wait, there was one more. Oh, and Devil is a Part-Timer at season 2 because, we deserved it. High key, I want to see what everyone's talking about with Chainsaw Man. But other than that, my most anticipated show that James has talked about the most is Hell's Paradise.
Oh, I want to watch that too.
I need to
so bad.
I need to know what's going on.
Paradise.
I need to know what's going on because James has literally been like, it's over, it's good, and it deserves the best. And I'm like, okay, great, sure.
I started reading it like a year ago. I think I read like not far, like maybe a chapter, 2-3 chapters, something like that. Not far at all. Basically, just when they get to the thing, and then they like the first reveal thing happens.
The first reveal,
yeah. Like the first tiny little thing. I didn't even get through like what is equivalent of like one volume. And then I was like, I'm not gonna read this shit anymore. This thing's awesome. I'm just gonna wait for the anime because it looks really fun.
There are so many series that this borrows from, but it borrows from in the way that I love, which is that there's an original idea underneath, and then there are concepts that worked very well in other places, but it remixes them. And there's a whole lot of like Buddhist philosophy that sort of underpins not just the visual tone or the what the how the characters relate to each other, but also like the world building that's done. And it's not a long series, so it's one of those things where it's gonna be, if it is successful, you'll get a few seasons out of it, but it has a very definitive end, and it gets there, at least in the manga, like in a like very satisfying way. So I was I couldn't believe it hadn't been when it was like running. They're like, oh, why is this not animated yet? Like, what is going on? And now that it's not running and actually doing, in some ways, it's kind of, the volumes are doing better since the announcement of the anime than they were when it was, in print. Like, I'm just so excited for them. But I know that's going to be good. I was thinking more of like, things I'm not sure about, but I'm hoping that they either continue to be good or are adapted well. But those previews look fantastic. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Also didn't mention I'm looking forward to Uzumaki.
Yeah, that's another one I was going to mention. Yeah,
I'm curious to see how that's going to get adapted. Once you said like if the adaptation's going to be good or not, that one popped into my head because I'm like, I hope it's good, but I don't know.
Pray to the budget gods. Well, it doesn't need budget. I mean, Uzumaki is really it does a lot.
But the Junji Ito collection that we got, the animated collection thing that we got.
Oh, you know what? There's one more thing that I'm looking forward to that I never thought I would be, but I'm looking forward to the Pokemon Masters tournament.
Oh, you mentioned that. Yeah.
They have all of the niggas, and yeah, I'm like, I think it's going to be some of the best Pokemon. I wouldn't say the best Sakuga, but I think some of the best Pokemon Sakuga. They've been hardcore promoting this arc, like way more than any of the Pokemon arcs, like in the anime ever. And like Cynthia is in this. Them niggas nut to Cynthia on a regular basis.
Probably
so it's kind of
probably
like
true.
Cynthia's in it, Leon's in it, Iris came back, she's fucking in it. Like all the heavyweights of like the Elite Four that beat your ass in fucking all the Nintendo iterations of the fucking game, they're there and they're animated, and the animation quality is top tier. Like this season's animation quality is good because they learned lessons from Sun and Moon where they like dulled down the like quality or like the fine lines, and then made it more fluid for the animations. They fine-tuned that for Sword and Shield. So like I feel like it's going to be really fucking good. Like for a continuing airing series, I think it's going to be like some of the best
so
shit.
Trying to get that season. One Piece glow up. Is that what's going on?
Oh Lord, we're not going. They don't watch One Piece.
It's all good. It's
absolutely not.
The glow up is real.
We're gonna skip over it. We're gonna skip over it for today. Okay. For today.
All right.
We're gonna skip over it for today.
Well, then that leads us right to the end. I think we've covered quite a bit for episode 100. I am so thankful that we have the guests that we have. We have MoodySenpaii. We have JoeFreshest. Do you all want to shout out what you're doing, where people can find you? We'll start with ladies first yet again.
Let's go. All right, what's good, everybody? Again, my name is MoodySenpaii. I am a cosplayer, podcaster, and I do Spaces host. The two things that I just want to shout out, which may or may not be relevant when this comes out, is that I am doing a space, the Collective Cafe, which is bi-weekly on Sundays at 4 p.m. If you are a content creator, specifically a nerdy content creator, we talk about navigating content creation and things like building your content creator guide. What are your brand colors going to look like? How to network in real life, how to network at a con, just a bunch of things that are going to help you grow as a creator. So please come and kick it with us. I also do Senpai Saturdays, which is just a shit show. I'm a little bit more chaotic there than I have been on this episode. But if you want to come hang out with us, talk about anime, talk shit, drink a lot, that is once a month on the first Saturday of every month. So.
Awesome. Joe, where can they find you?
That sounds like a fun time. You could check out the YouTube channel Freshest Anime. I do a lot of anime reactions. That's the only thing I really would plug. You know, if you want to watch some anime with me, basically, you can check that out. And you know, if you really get into it, maybe check out the Patreon. But really, just come through, sub, find a series that you like. I cover too many seasonal anime, like too many. Next season is probably gonna be I think 11 series. Yeah. I'm only gonna do 11 series on YouTube and another maybe five on Patreon outside of it.
Joe, are you hearing yourself?
This season I did like 20. Like it was too many.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean I just watch a lot of anime. But come through, check it out if you're interested.
Is that at JoeFreshest? Where can they
It's youtube.com/freshestanime.
There we go. And Jordan, give us our spiel.
You can follow us on anime_savants because that one girl who has anime savants hasn't given up her Twitter account. We feel away, but whatever. I'm not gonna message her because it is what it is. And then you can find us on Anime Savants on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, we're all over. The clips are coming. We have. Oh my God! See, every time I say that word, I feel like.
Just
somebody. Anyways, they're out there. You can find it. Boom bop. The problem with Instagram though, and I'm just saying this as just like a general creator thing, is when you make clips for Instagram is raggedy because they will desync your audio from your video. So beware of that, content creators. That's one of the main reasons why our Instagram has not had many clips lately, is because no matter if we post it on the stories, reels, or as a regular post, it desyncs the audio every single time. So I don't know if anyone else is having that problem, but Facebook, Meta, get it together. Like, you got too much money. Okay.
All right, you can always hit me up at Neural Handshake on Twitter. I spend most of my time not arguing about anime, but arguing about wrestling because I also love wrestling. But this is not a wrestling podcast, and so we will not be talking about that. Otherwise, thank you everyone for joining us, and peace out.
Yes, thank you guys.